Hey y'all, grown black folks talk. Being specific is very important in heaven and in earth. I was in Bible study. I co-teach this class with my pastor for our young people. And one of the things we noticed about them was they ask very specific, detailed questions. Pastor is a good Bible teacher. He's in seminary to get some more. I'm a good Sunday school teacher. My father was a whole theologian. My family's been teaching Sunday school for 3 generations. And these kids will still come up with some details that they see in reading through the text that we didn't, and we got to go look for stuff. That is the power of a mind that has not been taught to overlook the details. Fortunately, Pastor and I are big on details too, so we get in there and we all sit in there. People age 12 to people age 71. Because the youngest one is 10. People age 10 to people age 71 are learning new things about Scripture. And one of the things we learned yesterday, which is why this video came to mind, is how specifically people pray in the Bible. It's not generalized. If they need such and so from God, they go into detail about what they need and why they need. And you know what's interesting about that? The Bible shows God honoring those prayers. To go down to a generalized level, I get to a lot of places in life because I'm detail oriented. I'm not a huge visionary. I'm very creative, but I'm more creative it's harder for me to put together a big collage than it is for me to create a piece of art that would go into the collage. It's harder for me to do that. I'm not a huge visionary. I take photographs and I have a decent idea of composition, but basically God made the landscape. I just happen to be noticing it. Don't ask me to do your landscaping because I don't have a complete vision. But you might want to come to me and buy something that might go in there. That's just how my mind works. Now, the community we live in has a lot of visionaries, and that's a good thing. You need that. But here's the thing. There's an old saying, the devil is in the details. And the reason this is because if you leave things general in your own mind for too long, it basically goes into the level of fantasy. Because you don't have the details to actually manifest what it is you really want. And when I say manifest, I don't mean this in the New Age sense, which is occult. You cannot speak things into existence. And I can prove this very simply. Why haven't you spoken a cure for COVID-19 outright into existence? It's been 2 years. If you can actually manifest something, do that, then come talk to me. But if that cure ever does occur, it will be because people worked on it. So let me just be very clear about that. But before you can work on something, you have to know what goes into it, what's it going to take to get it, and what's the cost. If you want a good job, we'll deal with this from 2 sides. What does that mean? What does that mean? Do you mean highly paid? And for you, how much is that? So already we have 2 levels of detail. Do you want it to have a good culture? And what goes into a good culture? Already you have 2 levels of detail there. Do you want it to be meaningful work? And already this comes down to making a difference in the world, and what might that be? You're 3 levels down. And then, do you mean somewhere where you can use your skills and talents? Now we're down another level. And somewhere where your contribution is valued, and that's another level. See how that happened? But as long as you're looking for a good job, we haven't talked about location yet. Then we got to look at location. And that has to do with where is it? Can you work it from home? COVID is still out here. And what's your commute going to be like? Already, that's another 3 levels of details. Now, if you can go through that list of details and be able to pick out the things that you need to constitute a good job, you have a better chance of being able to find that job. Okay, let me go another way. We want good people in our lives. Cool. Fine. What does that mean? What does that mean? Do you mean people that are honest, faithful, loyal, true, kind, strong, but also gentle? What does that mean? what does it mean in terms of good for? Everybody can't play the same position. If you're a man, a wife plays a different position than a co-worker, plays a different position than your mama, supposedly, than a friend. And the same goes for your woman. A husband is a different position. A husband can be a friend, but he's in a different position than the friend you grew up with, unless that's him. He's in a different position with your brother and your father and your uncles. It's a different business. So good for what? That's another level of detail to add on. Not all your friends enjoy the same thing. So some friends may be good in this environment, and some friends may be good in that environment. Specifics are important. To go back to where I started with this lesson from Bible study that we got yesterday, the other thing about this is, as a Christian, not only do I have to do the specific work to figure out what it is I may think I need or want, then I got to compare that list to what God says is good. And if he and I differ, I'm wrong, and I have to repent and seek his will on matters. I know that the many of us growing up in the postmodern world do not have a good sense of there being objective standards for anything. I recognize that. But that's another reason that you get confused. Here's the other thing about not having this. You do know that once you've identified what it is that you want, you've only done half the work, right? Work. W-O-R-K. Now you got to figure out what's going to cost me to attain it. And what am I going to have to do specifically to get ready? I'll use a very easy example. Let's say I want a man of a certain income class, okay? If a man like that wants a 20-year-old trophy wife, I'm 41. Even if I was in perfect shape, that's out of the question. That's a specific detail. That's not going to happen. If he wants 5 children, by adoption, we can discuss it. By birth, probably not. I'm 41. That also leaves, though, if he is tired of the foolishness of the way the world operates and is at a point where maybe he's divorced, his wife has died, he's had his children already, perhaps he is in a state of mind of needing a life partner who is familiar with his area of how he gained that income and who is looking for an honest, faithful, true, loving companion. The point is, I have to pay the cost for what it is that I want in some way. Will I compete for a man? No, good men do not want to be competed for. All of creation out here has men, as the males, doing what they need to do to prove their fitness to the women. If you do not understand your place in creation, your intelligence is not sound enough to be a good man in that respect. But the other side about being specific is also being specific with yourself about what it is it's going to cost you to get what you say you want. And until you actually know what it is, people talk about, I am a good person. Really? We used to have a church member, and he was very bitter. He had lost his wife. He was very lonely. So we would say to him, good morning. And he was like, what's so good about it? And that annoyed the heck out of us. Then I noticed as I was growing up, though, when he got married, he stopped doing that. When he remarried, what he was going through was the goodness had gone out of his life. He was grieving and lonely. And you got up in the morning and the specifics were not there for him. I'm being very compassionate to him now. I can see that now. There was something that he needed specifically to add joy back to his life. He did not know how to do that by himself anymore. He was an older gentleman. So eventually he married another church member. And they lived a brief time, but happily ever after. Because that was just finding a specific. He needed a specific for his morning. I learned something from him. I didn't realize it until now. Until yesterday, actually. I didn't realize it until yesterday. I'm a good person. Okay. How so? Do this to yourself. Don't take it off anybody else. But also, get out of the habit of putting yourself out there proclaiming your goodness if you don't want to be examined. Because in the circles that you want to move out of, and into better ones, you are going to be examined. You are going to be questioned. Your fitness to belong to the places that you want to do. People are not necessarily going to take time to abuse you, but as I was saying to someone yesterday, law enforcement handles on a different level, at higher levels of class. They don't have to have you picked up for getting in when they can keep you out. Professional circles, social circles, family circles. Everybody is not calling the police. Police are not rolling up into every neighborhood. You just can't get into everywhere. You have to be able to present yourself in such a way that you have certain specifics in order, and that you are living in a life with integrity. We talked about fake it till you make it, so that your very presence proves who you say you are without you having to trumpet it. So it's very important. What is it that you want to need, and also who are you, and who are you, who do you want to be, and where do you want to do it with? These things have to be answered specifically. Good is not good enough. Better is not good enough. What does that mean? And again, when you begin to be specific about what it is that you're aiming for yourself and for others and for other places that you might be, you might find it's a lot easier to find it. And then after you find it, or you're in a position to be found, all you have to do then is know what the specifics are, what's the cost. Because again, I've often said everything you do, whatever you do, you pay for. But whatever you want, you pay for. Whatever you want, you pay for. So get those specifics down. Some of you are not into writing things down on paper. Some of you are. Some of you out here on whole boards. I'm not comfortable with the vision board concept per se, but I am for, if you need to put it down in front of you, put it down in front of you. Put it on a piece of paper. I got through questions around a great deal of resources this morning because I wrote it down the night before so I wouldn't forget it. Got the email sent off this afternoon, and hopefully we'll see results by tomorrow or Monday. There's a great deal of writing on me having written it down. Specifically, what it was I needed, who I needed to ask, and then in the back of my mind I didn't put this down, who I need to CC that on to see who's going to back it up if I can't get it by asking. All these things are exceptionally important. Specifics make the world go round. Keep that in mind. And if someone is trying to sell you a vision without details, the devil is in the details. Remember that. A lot of why we can't get things done in certain communities, and it does. I'm not just talking about the black community. We have had 16 years of yes, we can make America great again and build back better. Look around. Has anything changed for the better? But people were sold different dreams and not told, this is what I'm going to work on as your president, and this is what you need to work on as a citizen. Ain't nobody said that, ever. At least George W. Bush and his administration after 9/11 told you something very specific. Please go back to shopping so you can support the American economy. I remember the little store windows having this up. I mean, at least his administration was like, please go buy yourself a house so we can stave off the financial crisis that's coming in 2008. Maybe we can hold it off 2 more years. Specifics are important. I'm going to give George W. Bush. He would repeat stuff 7, 8, 9 times to you. You know, you'd hear the same thing. Well, George W. Bush knew something. He's a lot smarter than you thought he was. Because if you hear something 7 times, you're going to start to believe it. The devil is in the details. Keep that in mind. Be specific with yourself. All right. Y'all have a good day now. I gotta go buy some very specific items. I'm gonna try to make shakshuka either today or tomorrow. Let you know how that comes out. All right. Yeah, goodbye.